Do you ever forget someone's name a second after they tell you? And when you sense the conversation is wrapping up, you try to remember their name, but you can't? My name is Caleb, and I made a tool which reminds you the name of the person you're talking to. I recently got laid off and they took my monitors away. But what they can't take away is my desire to build gimmicky, somewhat creepy, likely illegal software solutions to non-existent problems. And an app that listens to your conversations and reminds you of someone's name is at the top of that list. We've all been there. You meet someone, you both say your names, and you're so focused on what you're gonna say next that you don't really register their name. Then as the conversation is wrapping up, you want to say, "Nice to meet you, so-and-so," but you don't remember their name, and so you say "dude" or just no name at all and walk away like a loser. But what if I told you I had a creepy Big Brother app that could listen in on your conversations and identify human names? Then if it found who you're talking to, it displayed their name as a notification on your phone, which you can quickly glance at to be reminded who you're talking to, just as quickly as you pull your phone out to check the time. Well, here's how it works. The core name detection capability uses a natural language processing technique called named entity recognition. Named entity recognition is a type of task that involves finding words that look like names in text. This could be a city or a place, for example, but in our case, human names. This kind of natural language task has been around for a long time, and I was able to mostly reuse an open source implementation within Apache OpenNLP. Apache OpenNLP is an open source NLP machine learning toolkit. So, details aside, you give this thing a bunch of words and it spits out the ones that look like names. I initially wanted to make this thing a web app or something else because I hate installing more apps on my phone. But I think it needs to be a native phone app in order to have access to your mic with the screen locked. So I had to dust off my old college intro to Java knowledge and built an Android app. The app starts listening through the mic when you launch it and continues to listen when the screen is locked. It will only stop if you kill it, just like me. Often when you're building software, parts of it may need to be optimized. For example, minimizing storage use or minimizing cycles to complete a task. I'm trying to minimize creepiness. I tried to build this tool with the least amount of creep possible while still fulfilling the task of reminding you of a person's name. When the mic is on, the app is listening for words and performs voice to text on them. When this happens, it's writing your conversations into memory, not saving them in permanent storage. Then if no voices are detected for 30 seconds, the text gets nuked from memory and nothing remains except the notification with their name until you close it. Now, back to the functionality. The app will continually pass your conversation as it goes on into the named entity classifier to look for names. So the result up to this point, aside from impending lawsuits, is an app that listens for words and finds the ones that look like human names. Then it displays a notification with their name so you can glance at it if you choose. This on its own in ideal conditions works, but breaks down if more than one name is detected in the conversation. You probably don't want to be talking to Jeff. Jeff mentions Billy, and you later call Jeff Billy. I needed a way for the app to know which name, among many, likely belongs to the person you're talking to. If you think about a conversation, usually introductions happen towards the beginning. And so applying this idea, the further a name is from the beginning of the conversation, the less likely the app thinks that that name belongs to the person in front of you. Similar to some of my other projects, I found that an internal voting system based on heuristics like this worked best. But instead of voting for the best name, it applies a punishment score to the least likely names. So the further a name is from the beginning of the conversation, the less likely it will be chosen by the app as the name of the person in front of you. This makes it better, but what about a scenario where you might be talking about someone else before you introduce yourselves? You might start a conversation talking about Billy, and then you both introduce yourselves after that. If you think about introductions, usually both people will say their names at around the same section of the conversation. So applying this idea, the app further punishes names based on how far they are from other names in the conversation. This helps address the scenario where there are multiple names in a conversation where introductions could occur at any point in the conversation. If two names are similarly scored and within an arbitrary threshold I set, the app will display a notification with both their names, one of which most likely being yours, the other being the person you're talking to. If it gets too messy with too many names, it will just display the least punished name, hoping that's the correct one. Conversations are complex, and this set of heuristics definitely do not always work. But it works sometimes, and that's both creepy and awesome. Cross 'em. Or we should all yell cross 'em.
Okay, ready, go.
Cross 'em!
Nailed it.
I decided to open source this project as well as all of my other projects so that people can build on what I've done, or just try out the dog poop detector or hungry baby alarm. BYOB. I bought the domain calebolson.com and built and deployed my own site there. Go there for links to the code for all my projects. I also bundled up the app from this video, and you can download it for free from my website and try it out yourself. Just make sure you're not breaking any local laws before using it. I've made a few videos now and have a lot more janky ideas to build out, as capacity allows. Thanks for watching. Don't sue me. Cross 'em!
I like when you said so. Way too
That was really,
That's aggressive.
that was pretty,
You don't need to raise your hand like you're
cross 'em!